I've been decluttering my home and making YouTube videos for about 8 months now on decluttering. And these are the most important lessons I've learned, and also some of the mistakes you don't want to be making. I also find a lot of the things that I'm going to share today are things that people aren't talking about, so I want to share them in case it's helpful to you. So this first one, I made a whole video about it, and it's something that I came to the realization of over the course of several months, and I felt so strongly about it, I wanted to make a whole video about it, and it's about slow decluttering. And my whole premise is that you do not need to declutter quickly. You do not need to rush through something unless you're moving or you have something going on. Then there's really no need for you to declutter quickly. And I think there are a couple of important reasons for this. First, if you declutter quickly and you're rushing through it, you're just going to put a lot of pressure and stress on yourself and you're not going to get it done. And the problem is we became cluttered after many, many years. It took time. And so you can't really get uncluttered in just overnight. The second thing, which I think is probably the most important thing, is if you declutter quickly and get it all done. Have you ever heard the expression easy come, easy go? I'm not going to say that if you declutter quickly, it won't stick. What's going to happen is if you declutter quickly and then you have all of this space, the potential for you getting cluttered is really high. And the reason is you haven't yet adopted those clutter-free mindsets or those clutter-free habits. You just haven't given yourself the time to do it yet. And then the other thing that I think happens when people declutter quickly, this is when the mistakes happen, when you end up having decluttering regrets. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I am very in favor of using natural cleaning products. That's why I'm very excited to say that today's video is sponsored by Blueland. I actually first learned of Blueland in 2020 because in my normal job, in my day job, I was doing a panel for this annual conference that we had, and we were lucky enough to have their CEO and co-founder on the panel, and I got to interview her. It was amazing hearing about this company, and the whole company was made on the premise of eliminating plastic. Their idea is that you do not have to sacrifice a clean home for a clean planet. So when they reached out to sponsor this video, I was really freaking excited. Let me show you. I ordered a couple of items here. I got the foaming hand wash, and so that comes with this glass bottle. And you just keep this bottle, you keep on reusing it, and then you get the refills. And the little refills are these tablets. They start at $2.25, so I think it's very affordable. And I also love that these tablets take up less space than the pouches that I usually use, and also not as much waste. You can actually recycle and compost the refill packaging. And then you're seeing these laundry tablets. If you've been following my channel, you know I've been looking for a laundry detergent that doesn't have plastics in it. I'm also trying to eliminate fragrance. So this detergent is fragrance free. I was really impressed with the laundry tablets. They're proven to lift tough stains. You can just drop a tablet into the drum and then you add your laundry and you're good to go. Blueland's products have no plastic waste. They're free of phosphates, chlorine bleach, parabens, VOCs, ammonia, triclosan, and phthalates. So they're also hypoallergenic. For the foaming hand soap, you just add water to the bottle and then you drop in the tablets. You let it foam up. It's ready to use right away. I'm telling you, if you want to try some cleaner products with no single-use plastics, try Blueland. I have a link below, and luckily you can get 15% off your first kit. So check it out and let me know if you try it. Okay, my second thing. This one was life-changing, and I know probably you think that's being dramatic, but let me tell you, decluttering my closet, my master closet, was life-changing for me. If you have a master closet that's full of clothes and it's just packed to the brim, a couple of things going on here. Number one, theoretically, you're looking at it every day and every night because you're trying to get dressed, you're trying to put your clothing away. And I think if you see a mess in your closet, it almost gets in your mind that sets the tone for your whole house. You can just have a mess in your house because there's a mess here, why not a mess there? I think it has a domino effect because what happens, and I totally noticed this, when your closet is full of clothing, you can't put your stuff away. And so then you end up piling it in your room. Are you familiar with the clothing chair? I used to have one of those. The clothes would pile up. I was reluctant to put them in the closet because it was a struggle to put them away. Then the other thing that I think happens is if you have so much clothing in your closet, isn't it ironic how the people who have the most stuff in their closet never have anything to wear? There's a reason for that. It's because all of the clothing that you love and that is in your closet, you just can't see, and your whole wardrobe is clouded by the things that you don't wear and the things that you don't like. So you may have the perfect wardrobe, but it's amongst a whole bunch of stuff that you're not wearing, and it's just clouding your judgment of your entire wardrobe. The other thing that happens is when you don't like anything that you have and you think you have nothing to wear, guess what happens? It's a whole big cycle because you go out to buy something to wear and you just keep buying new things, shoving it into your closet, not wearing it. You get my point. It's this big clutter cycle. My third piece of advice is that you should start with the pain points in your home. I know a lot of decluttering videos will tell you start with one drawer or one corner, and you could do that, and I think that's fine. But what I found really helped me is when I started with the pain points, like the areas in my home that were really getting in the way of me having a functioning home, that's when everything changed. I will just tell you the pain points in my home. For sure, it was the kitchen. I had far too much stuff in my kitchen. I had things on my counter. I had things in my cabinets. I had things I wasn't using. I had things that I maybe used seasonally, maybe once a year, once every other year. I still wanted to keep it, but it was in my kitchen and it was in the way of the things that I wanted to use. So every time I wanted to make dinner, it was this whole big production of moving things and finding things and digging through deep cabinets. What a nightmare. I end up rearranging my kitchen and decluttering things I don't use, also moving things that I only use seasonally to my basement. If you've got somewhere to store them, that's a good solution. Another huge pain point for me was my entryway. It was always a mess. We don't have a front hall closet, so our entryway is pretty interesting, but I have managed to make it work. Now I've got systems in place. I've got places for everybody to store their stuff. For that, I just recommend watching people entering your home and leaving your home, like your family, yourself. What do you do? What do you need? What needs to be there? Do you have a drop zone? That kind of a thing. This next one is a mistake, and the mistake is not starting. There are a variety of reasons why people feel like they can't get started, and I am just here to tell you, stop delaying your success thinking that you need to go all in and do this perfectly. You do not. All you need to do is start somewhere. Start small. Start with 60 seconds if you need to. Of course, my neighbor is mowing the lawn. I hope you guys can't hear that. When it comes to decluttering, something is better than nothing. I actually think Dana K. White says this as well. And she just says, the goal isn't perfect, you just want to make it better. I think this is such a powerful statement because it could be applied to all aspects of our life, not just decluttering. You're just making something better. You're not aiming for the sky here. It's just with each day, you're going to make it a little bit better and eventually you're going to get there. By the way, if you enjoy content like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button down below. It's free. My next tip is also a mistake, and I think this one may be a little bit controversial, but I'm going to say to not make the mistake of donating everything. Our donation centers are overrun with items. A lot of times people are donating a ton of stuff. And they're also donating things in many cases that aren't useful. Maybe they are broken, maybe they're stained. What happens is this stuff ends up being garbage, and the donation center people have to go through it, they have to throw it away, and it causes a problem for them. You're almost making your stuff their problem. What I like to do is a couple of things. I do donate many things if I am decluttering them, but I also like to figure out how can I repurpose things. So maybe I've got some mugs and I can plant some herbs in them, or some kitchen pots, I can use those to plant some flowers. Maybe cut clothing into cleaning cloths. Try to think creatively about what you can do with your stuff rather than wholesale donating it. You could call your friends, see if they want your stuff. I also frequently use this website called Trash Nothing, and I think there's also a Buy Nothing version, and they have these. You can just put in your community, put in your zip code, and then you can put a photo of whatever you're giving away, leave it on your porch, someone will come and pick it up. I one time was cleaning out the back closet, and I had about 50 cleaning cloths that I was giving away. there was no way I was going to be able to use them. I put them on Trash Nothing, and I was thinking, nobody's gonna want these. Probably within 10 minutes, I had a response from a guy, and an hour later, I left them on the porch. They were gone, done. My next piece of advice is to not agonize over things that are easily replaceable. I find that a lot of people will agonize over things like giving away a pot or giving away a kitchen gadget that they don't use. And they apply the same decision making to that kitchen gadget as they do giving away a family heirloom that was passed down to them, for example. I say save your agony for the things that actually deserve it. You don't want to apply the same decision making to easier items as you do for those tougher to get rid of items. There is this 20-20 rule, and it says if you can replace it for less than $20 in less than 20 minutes, then you can easily get rid of it. I mean, you don't want to be wasteful with this. You do want to apply your thinking and really think about it. In which case, a lot of times I will just use a box and I'll leave it in there for a couple of months, maybe even a month. If I don't go back to it, I know I can safely donate those things. If you have watched my channel, you know one of the things that I just really hate doing is throwing stuff away. I try to avoid the landfill as much as possible. I sometimes see people decluttering and throwing away perfectly good, perfectly useful items. I just can't do it. Even things like shampoo that I didn't like or face products that I didn't like. Have you ever watched those decluttering videos and it's like declutter my makeup with me or declutter my skincare with me? And it's usually an influencer who has a lot of followers and they get a lot of these products for free. And then they show these full products and I think they're just throwing them away. It makes me so sad when I see this. I try to reuse everything. So if I've got shampoo that I don't like, I use it as to make a cleaning solution or clean out your toilet with it. You could even use it to wash your delicates. It's shampoo, so you could wash your wool sweaters in it. Things like old towels, old sheets, you may think you need to toss them. Pet shelters will take them. So just try to think, like, what can I do with this to not throw it away? My last piece of advice is so important. Once you get your space uncluttered and cleared up, you need to resist the urge to clutter it back up again. There's a saying that nature abhors a vacuum. And basically, if there is a vacuum or an empty space, nature will come and fill it up. And human nature is to come and fill up that space. So in order to not fill up your space, you're going to have to employ some rules. A couple of things I do. Number one, a lot of people do this. It's the one in, one out rule. So when you replace something or you buy something new, just make sure you're getting rid of one item at the same time. Or maybe what I have done in the past is when I've gotten an Amazon package and I'll get it in a box, I will be sure to fill that box up with things that I want to get out of my house. And that will be my guideline for how much I should declutter. I definitely also really love to do no buy months or no buy years. I've done that in the past. You can just set a time frame that works for you and just challenge yourself to not buy anything in that time period. And then finally, of course, making sure that you're resisting temptation. If you are trying to buy something, maybe giving yourself a lot of time to think about it. The other thing I like to do is I just don't really go shopping anymore. It's really hard to resist the temptation in person when you're in a place and you see something you think you're gonna love, and putting it back is really difficult sometimes. I also like to do ship to store if I need to buy something. Say at Sephora, for example, I will just ship it to the store. I will run in, pick it up, and run out, and that way I'm not tempted to buy anything else that I don't need. Okay, guys, that was my 8 pieces of decluttering advice. I hope that it helped you. If you want to keep the decluttering going, I am going to link a video, so click on it, and I'll see you over there. Bye-bye.